Glad you have tuned in. You have obviously heard there is an election on this week. 7 days after clashing on STV, the leaders of Scotland's 4 main political parties will face the television cameras and a live studio audience again, this time in the BBC arena for the final arguments ahead of polling day. Here is everything you need to know about Tuesday evening's BBC Scottish Leaders debate. Who is taking part? Facing a studio audience and presenter Sarah Smith, Jackson Carlaw, Richard Leonard, Willie Rennie and Nicola Sturgeon will make their bids for your vote less than 48 hours before Scotland heads to the polls. What happened in the last debate? According to an online poll, the First Minister came out on top, with 87% of Herald readers backing Nicola Sturgeon as the winner over Jackson Carlaw and Richard Leonard. The Conservative and SNP leaders clashed over Mr Carlaw's claims Ms Sturgeon and Jeremy Corbyn could take over our country next week. However, the First Minister was adamant that Boris Johnson was utterly unfit to be PM and must be stopped. Meanwhile, Ms Sturgeon and Labour leader Mr Leonard butted heads over Trident, and Lib Dem leader Willie Rennie criticised the SNP's record on the NHS. What topics are likely to come up? The NHS has been a hot-button issue in this general election cycle, with repeated denials from the Conservative Party that the National Health Service is under threat of being privatised in the event of a no-deal Brexit. However, the SNP have had their own issues with the service north of the border following the deaths of several patients at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital in Glasgow from contaminated water and the continuing fiasco of Edinburgh's New Children's Hospital. Plenty has also been made of a potential deal between Labour and the SNP that could see a coalition government formed, should Jeremy Corbyn's party require a leg up to take power. And then there is the small issue of Scottish independence. Nicola Sturgeon is determined to host Indaif 2 next year, but none of the other parties consider that a viable plan. How can I watch it? The debate gets underway on BBC Scotland at 8 p.m. However, if you can't make it to a television screen, tune into the Herald's live blog to keep up with all the action. For more on this story, visit the news article link.